A Florida man is facing charges after he allegedly stole an ambulance from a Tampa hospital. Troopers say the 43-year-old swerved into oncoming traffic before finally stopping in a neighborhood. Then he cracked open a beer and finished it right in front of the police officers.
Deputies say this barefoot man wrestled with a giant alligator in the median. The man was able to wrangle the gator and tape its mouth shut before putting it back in a pickup truck.
SeaWorld now facing a lawsuit after a woman claims she was knocked unconscious by a duck while riding a roller coaster.
You were going to go to your ex-girlfriend's house. Yes. You were going to break into her house, and you weren't quite sure what you were going to do.
Yes. It was really like something out of a movie. Take a look. You can see here a man get into the back of a deputy's patrol car, and despite that deputy trying to tase him, the guy just drives off.
Stop. Stop. I'm going to give you a drink. That's it.
This explosion, one of many on Overlake Avenue in the last half year.
This is what our January looked like. Each icon is a bomb that went off. Sometimes it's 2 or 4 times a day.
At 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, like it doesn't stop.
Everyone points fingers at the man inside this house, adorned with adult figurines and signs flipping the bird. No one is sure how the community feud started. All they care about is the neighborhood kids are unwilling to play outside, and no one seems to be able to help.
Would you allow your neighbor to sit here blowing fireworks every day? We say, hey, I can't do anything, or are you going to try and do something about it?
I mean, it's just a continual battle of torment through this person.
Commissioner Myra Uribe wrote this memo after deputies told her they couldn't do anything because they aren't around when the explosions happen. She's calling on the county to pass additional laws that give those deputies more power. Staff is wrangling over what actually needs to be passed.
Knowing this guy, we'll say mortars, and then he'll come up with something else.
We approached the man off camera. He told us all of this was his First Amendment right, and then threatened us if we didn't get off his property.
Now, Flagler County, a so-called birthday suit bandit has been arrested, accused of trying to break into a Palm Coast home naked.
What's going on, bro?
I just came over to talk to you.
That was the board you were on?
Yeah, and they call him a fish, which is kind of, ironic, right? So you're riding a fish and a shark tries to get your fish.
That spinner shark didn't catch a fish when it jumped out of the water, but it did headbutt Darren Kay and knock him right off his board.
I was just really happy its mouth wasn't open, because that's how they fish,
This video of the interaction was posted on NSB Inlet's Instagram page and has since gone viral. Kay, like most surfers, sees sharks in New Smyrna Beach all the time. He's even been out with people when they were bit. But what happened to him might be the most shocking encounter so far.
I got right back on my board. My pulse went to about 195 beats per minute in a second, and I paddled as fast as I could, out of the way.
Kay has not only been hit by a shark, he's also been hit by a car before. He says the force felt similar.
So I had written out a scar on my hip and that. And that's what it felt like. It felt like getting hit by a car. It was really strong and powerful. It's just, they're all muscle,
Spinner sharks aren't known for having strong or serious bites, but most weigh more than 120 pounds, which can pack a punch. Kay's headache only lasted a short time and was quickly overshadowed the moment he caught his next wave.
We surfed there the rest of the weekend. We surfed there this morning. We surfed there yesterday afternoon. We always have waves, so we're lucky.
Strange and violent incident outside a Winter Park P.F. Chang's ended in an arrest early this morning. Police say Damari Hill, an employee, chased down a man he saw inside his car, forced him to strip naked before dragging him back to the restaurant.
You can see it. Seconds earlier, the video did show Jacob Daniel Caldwell firing a flare gun. They say he fired it at the deputy who stopped to check on him. Caldwell repeatedly refused commands to get on the ground, and eventually the deputy used his taser twice.
Police arrested charter captain Brock Homer for jumping on the other person's boat, shouting at that person, grabbing him by his shirt. Investigators say they received so many calls that they had to take action on this.
All right, bro.
Cuss me out.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Please, bro.
Homer's facing multiple assault charges.
This morning, Sanford police say they're looking for someone they've dubbed the Kool-Aid Man. It's a reference from the Kool-Aid commercial. It comes after a large hole was left behind after a burglary.
Take a look out the window and you'll see a glimpse of the fight caught on video that landed one woman in jail and sent 2 officers to the hospital. It happened earlier today right outside of several Titusville businesses off the 4400 block of South Hopkins Avenue.
Well, they were arguing and it sounded like over a man, and they were fighting like grown men, I can tell you that much. And then the one lady showed her gun. The other lady was not scared a bit, but then she took her gun out and used it to hit her with.
The officers responding to 911 calls about a woman pulling a handgun on another person were updated that she'd left the scene. One of the officers attempted a U-turn to pursue the suspect when she was struck by another patrol unit.
This man swam up to the replica steamboat, stripped off his wetsuit, and robbed the restaurant of at least $10,000 in cash. A heavily redacted report showing it happened just after midnight, after the restaurant closed and the manager was counting money to put into the safe. Investigators said after the man spray painted the security camera, he forced 2 employees to get into the corner of the room and close their eyes. The robbery taking about 2 minutes before the man left and the employees called 911. Investigators believe the man, who was described as wearing clothes and a beanie by the employees, put his scuba gear on, got back into the water, and swam off. But to where, they don't know. The investigation still active.
A Florida man is facing child neglect charges after investigators say he threw 3 children over a fence in Fort Myers.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office says it has arrested a serial impersonator after he pulled a man over during a fake traffic stop.
And this isn't his first time in trouble. This is the 4th arrest for this guy.
You're the one taking me home.
Sure. Can you put your feet together?
I'll put my feet together.
And your hands on your side.
Whatever you say, Daddy.
New at 4, deputies say video shows a man deliberately turning on his sprinkler system, his irrigation, to get water on disabled students who were waiting for the bus next door. They say it happened repeatedly, and they say it actually wasn't once, but on a day-to-day basis. The homeowner actually now faces battery and stalking charges for running his irrigation.
Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb is live outside of the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and Ashlyn, investigators say he was upset about that school bus parking in front of his driveway.
Yes, investigators say he admitted that he was upset that this wheelchair ramp touched his driveway. Investigators also say that he admitted to having surveillance cameras to watch when these students boarded the bus. We talked to Roman about those charges today.
Sprinklers are now activated as the bus stopped.
Kevin Martin says every time he took his 2 kids to this school bus, his neighbor's sprinkler system turned on, and when the bus left, it stopped.
And sprinklers are now off.
That's a Marion County corporal talking over the video as he watched Antonio Roman's home. The sprinklers spraying Martin, his 20-year-old son Noah, and 17-year-old daughter Callie, who's in a wheelchair. The report says Martin would wear swimming trunks and a t-shirt when loading and unloading the children. He used his body as a shield. Zach Moore with the Marion County Sheriff's Office says this has happened repeatedly since August 2024, and the setup of the sprinklers was not an accident.
There was one that was on a jet setting that was pointed to only the pavement, and it would strike the front passenger side of the bus, right where the doors would be for you to load and unload a bus.
Moore says investigators also noticed these cameras pointed at the Martins' home and driveway, so they questioned Roman.
So you're watching the cameras to activate these when there's someone there. And he said, yeah, because they won't move this bus stop.
So when Roman was triggering the sprinkler system to go off, sometimes he was out of state when he was making it go off?
Presumably, yeah, that's what we believe.
We confronted Roman about those charges today.
Do you have any comment about what's happened?
Well, only in Florida can you find lawnmower races and pool noodle battles. That's what happened at the Florida Man Games. It was actually returning this past weekend, not the first time it's been done, embracing the state's wild reputation here. Contestants from across the country actually came down to the Sunshine State to compete in human beer pong and more.
You have so much stress in life. You got so much garbage day in, day out with politics and, all the other nuances going on in the world. This right here, this allows people to just be people.
And that wasn't it. You also had fun like mullets and mechanical gator competitions.
Orlando couple got an uninvited guest after he fell through this screened-in lanai as he was trying to run away from deputies. In fact, over here you could see his footprints where he ran out and went through this screen, which is now repaired, as he tried escaping.
Orange County deputies arrived to a Pine Hills home looking for 24-year-old Antonio Sherwood. According to his arrest report, it all started in Maitland and later turned into a high-speed chase. Authorities used stop sticks, causing Sherwood to get out of the car and run, even hopping on a screen enclosure, which he fell through.
He popped through this one. He fell down and broke an ADT sign. That's when everything went off.
Karen Salami lives here with her husband, Gordon. They say the stranger was caught on surveillance a few days ago at around 2:30 in the morning.
What was he thinking, climbing on a screen? Lucky he didn't break his neck, because he came, that's pretty high fall. I know he fell on the one plant, and then he kind of, like a deer in the headlights, standing right here.
Karen says the man ran next door where a canine got him.
That's how they caught him. The dog bit him to make him stay in one place.
Sherwood's charged with fleeing and eluding law enforcement, burglary, and criminal mischief. Gordon says the suspect never went inside the house.
But he made the right decision. Instead of coming in there, because I was waiting for him.
I'm relieved. I just hope they get him some real help and not just lock him up.
I was going 116 and he won't give me a chance, bro.
It was a range of emotions for 28-year-old Kiara Molina Rushi.
You didn't have to. Like, you could have gave me a I know. Look, I know this is your job.
The Florida Highway Patrol clocked her going 116 on the beach line near Tradeport. Her reason?
I got a legit call that my son got bit in the face by a pit bull.
But the trooper didn't buy it, and she was off to jail.
Please! Why do you don't have to be so mean.
This is just one of more than 70 people charged under Florida's new super speeder law.
Did you all anticipate the large amount that you got in the first month?
Absolutely not.
FHP trooper Migdalisis Garcia gave us the breakdown. 49 people for going at or over 100 miles per hour, about half of them in Volusia alone. For the second part of the law, for drivers exceeding the speed limit by 50, 22 people have been charged.
When crashes happen at these speeds, it's not survivable.
This is our first look of about a month of data for FHP. We were the first to tell you Orange County couldn't make an arrest on the first day of the new law because the charge code wasn't in the system yet. FHP had a similar situation and made its first super speeder arrest July 15th. We reviewed several arrest reports. Troopers say they caught 2 people on motorcycles going 87 on 434's 35-mile-per-hour zone. This 25-year-old driver, troopers say, hit 120 on I-4 in Lake Mary. And according to the report, he said he thought the trooper was racing him. Troopers also arrested a 20-year-old who they say hit 135 on I-4 in Longwood. And we showed you this one. Smoke coming from this Dodge Charger after troopers say the 20-year-old driver was caught doing 155 miles per hour. We went over court records and found most drivers post their $500 bond quickly, but they're responsible for towing costs and vehicle impound fees. As for Molina Rushi,
please, sir, please.
We called and she said she didn't want to talk about her case. She has a hearing set for late September.
The sheriff tells us the teen who triggered that Amber Alert Friday shot himself in the leg to help sell his elaborate kidnapping plan. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Wormuth.
I'm Darlene Jones. Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz is monitoring this live in the studio. Gio, this teenager is okay, but he could now face some serious charges.
Yeah, Darlene, this is a whole very interesting case. The sheriff's office says charges against Caden Spate are still on the table after this Amber Alert. You might have received a notification on the phone back then. Sparked an all-out search when they thought this teenager was in danger. The 17-year-old was reported missing along Southwest Highway 484 in Denellen last week. The initial report said that the teen could have possibly been abducted and was seen with 4 men in a light-colored van. The Marion County Sheriff's Office also responded to a reported shooting at that same location where Caden was last seen. A massive search started from that point on until around noon on Friday when he was found. It turns out there was a shooting, but the sheriff says he shot himself as part of his plan to mislead everyone. Take a listen.
The initial details that Caden texted to his family were proven to be false, completely made up.
Take a look at this security video. In it, investigators say Julian Jarmello tracked the victim to this home and then forced her into her own car.
Lake County deputies are trying to figure out who destroyed a home in Claremont and why they left angry messages behind. You can see the damage to the home here. Deputies say it was caused by heavy machinery. Channel 9's Sabrina Maggiore is live outside of that home for us tonight. And Sabrina, no one was inside the home at the time.
Yeah, Martha, luckily, because clearly a lot of destruction here. You can see the mound of dirt behind us from the excavator that was used. Whoever did this hit this home not one, not two, but up to 5 times. You can see straight through this home, and that's only on this side of the structure. Multiple belongings all over. Whoever did this clearly was motivated by anger. Gaping holes in the roof and side of this home leave a clear view of the mangled bedding inside of this child's bedroom, the destroyed living area, and the master bedroom, now in shambles.
There's like a house that's there that was completely, it looks like it's been completely vandalized, like completely destroyed. Like somebody has smashed it to pieces.
A passerby called in the destruction around 7 this morning. Lake County deputies say someone driving an excavator left behind this track, now marked as evidence, smashing not just this home, but also a Ford Expedition parked on the property.
First I thought a car came off the road here and hit it. But then I said, nah, that can't be it.
Neighbors like Joe Burgess say they didn't hear the hum of heavy machinery overnight, instead waking up to this crime scene.
I've seen some crazy things, but this, I can't even figure this out.
He's now trying to make sense of the multiple messages left behind on the home and all around the property.
They were really mad at something to do that to a house and a family.
New arrest records say a Kissimmee Checkers worker shot and killed a customer after a dispute over a food order and an exchange of offensive names. The suspect, 23-year-old Elijah Mackey, appeared before an Osceola County judge just in the last couple hours.
State versus Elijah Mackey.
The Checkers employee accused of shooting and killing a customer will remain in the Osceola County jail on no bond. Deputies say an argument over a food order heated up between Elijah Mackey and customer Wesley Robertson. According to these new arrest records, Robertson complained about his order to one of the female employees and requested to speak with the manager several times. That's when investigators say Mackey walked over to the window and began arguing with Robertson. Robertson called Mackey offensive names, and that's when deputies say Mackey reached inside his waistband and pulled out a handgun, shooting and killing the customer.
They shouldn't be carrying a gun at work. That's insane.
Friday, caution tape still blocked the drive-thru as customers drove up to the fast food spot just to have to turn around. Tom Greco biked from the other side of town for lunch.
I just stopped here for a burger. It says it's closed.
No word yet on when the Checkers will reopen, but the fast food chain released a statement saying in part, the actions of this one employee does not reflect the values of the thousands of our hardworking employees across the country. We are working closely with the police in their investigation, and we are sending our thoughts and prayers to the guest family. One witness told deputies the argument was over missing mayonnaise packets in the customer's order. The arrest records say after the customer insulted Mackey, there were no other words exchanged before shots were fired.
Developing tonight, a woman is in jail accused of battery after deputies say she dunked on their family's child in a pool, and it was not a wanted dunk. Deputies arrested Tiffany Griffith on child abuse charges.
Man is heading to prison after setting his own condo on fire in what investigators called an act of revenge.
This guy is on the street.
Things heat up quickly in this cell phone video. The adult among the students is Shu Shan Pang. According to the arrest report, on October 14th, he yelled at a boy to slow down as he rode to school. When the student said no, Pang followed him onto Jackson Heights Middle School's campus. Once on the school grounds, police say Pang grabbed the boy's arm, then smacked his helmet off his head.
Yes, I was.
Next, you can see other students jump in and push Pang to the ground. He's accused of attacking a second boy before school staffers step in.
It should have never escalated to where this adult was able to put his hands on a child.
This parent didn't want her face or name on TV. She says families are concerned about how easily Pang was able to follow the student on campus and attack the kids in the first place.
School staff, security, as you see over there, there is a police vehicle always parked there. Where's the safety for our children?
We went to Pang's Oviedo home, blocks from the school. No one answered. We also went to his job. We found out he's an associate professor at UCF's College of Optics and Photonics. UCF confirmed Pang is now on paid leave.
We're following a developing story in Marion County after this 22-year-old is now accused of shooting at a deputy, this is crazy, while handcuffed in the back of a cruiser.
I don't know how this is possible, but deputies say the woman was flexible enough to grab a gun from her pants and shoot toward the deputy. Channel 9's Sabrina Majore reports this was not the first time investigators say she tried to get away and run away from law enforcement.
Hardin was just released from jail for an earlier arrest where she's accused of running from police in Bay County. You can see the glass on the ground here and a utility pole down. That's where the Marion County Sheriff's Office says a deputy crashed his car once Hardin opened fire. Bullet holes are scattered across the window of this Marion County deputy vehicle, and evidence markers litter South Pine Avenue in Ocala. The crime scene, the focus of an FDLE investigation, after the Marion County Sheriff's Office says a suspect already in handcuffs was able to contort her body to reach a gun hidden in her baggy pants.
She is very flexible, and she was able to maneuver herself to where she was able to get her hands down inside her pants and retrieve the weapon.
The Sheriff's Office says before 2:30 a.m., a deputy pulled over 22-year-old Rihanna Hardin in Summerfield, arresting her for possession of methamphetamines, drug paraphernalia, and for driving on a suspended license. She was on her way to the Marion County Jail when outside of this Ocala motel, she opened fire.
When she pulled the trigger and started firing at the deputy, he did lose control of the vehicle.
The Sheriff's Office says a bullet grazed the deputy, who got out of his cruiser and opened fire.
We're just very thankful that he just only received a graze and he's going to be able to go home to his family.
Court records obtained by Channel 9 shows Hardin's criminal history dates back to 2020. She's accused of running from law enforcement twice before this and faced other charges, including grand theft out of Bay County. This YouTube video shows the moment FHP troopers pitted her car during one 2020 chase. You can see a box fly from the car, which troopers say was full of drugs. Hardin was shot in the shoulder and hip, but is already out of the hospital and in jail. FDLE is now taking over this investigation and could bring forward more charges.
155 miles per hour. That's how fast troopers say they clocked a driver on I-4 near State Road 436.
81-year-old Marion County woman faces battery charges this afternoon, accused of attacking her neighbor's young children with pepper spray. Investigators say the dispute stems from the children playing with bubbles in the community. Channel 9's Q McCrae is live outside of the area where this all unfolded on Pine Court in Ocala. And Q, you spoke with those young children's mother.
I did, and you'll hear from her in just a second. But first, I want to start off by showing our viewers at home just how close the victims and suspect live to each other. So this White House behind me, this is where Ada Anderson lives. She's the suspect. You'll notice the fence right here. Then right next door is where the victims live. And that inflatable pool, that's where this all happened last week. We have some video to show you of the family, because again, I spoke to them just minutes ago. But according to police and the mother in this case, her name is April Morant, her 3-year-old and 6-year-old were outside playing with bubbles when 81-year-old Ada Anderson, who lives again right next door, decided to pepper spray the kids and started calling them the N-word. Now the mom says she doesn't feel safe living in this neighborhood anymore and she wants to move out. She says she doesn't want to be another victim like Ocala's A.J. Owens, who was shot and killed by her neighbor, Susan Lorenz, 2 years ago. Now Lorenz is facing 25 years behind bars.
And you don't want to go through that or her hurting your kids like you or your kids. You're just looking for places because I don't want to stay here by her.
Mrs. Anderson, my name's Q McCrae with Channel 9. So as you heard there, I tried speaking with the suspect. She's out here right now, as a matter of fact, but she isn't interested in talking to us or any other media at the moment. She's now facing multiple counts of battery for allegedly pepper spraying the kids and the mother. I also had an opportunity to speak to a number of neighbors here in the community. They tell me that the feud between the two, the victims and the suspect, have been going on for some time. They say that though what Miss Anderson did here was not right, was definitely in the wrong for pepper spraying the kids. She says the feud between the two has been going on for a while and that the The victim's mom and her older children have been causing some issues with Mrs. Anderson. So there's a back and forth here that's been going on since this family moved in last year.